One of the most valuable lessons I've learned over the years is that luxury doesn't have to mean expensive. And I've been thinking a lot about those little luxuries we have in our lives, things that kind of improve our day, just make things seem a little bit more special, add a bit of sparkle, or to me have just really felt worth it, despite the fact that they kind of act as a silent partner in my life, but the value they contribute is far greater than the actual cost. So I thought that I could share with you some of my little luxuries that I will always make room for in my budget across both style and lifestyle. And I want to start with the first one, which to me is probably the thing that makes the biggest difference in terms of how comfortable I am in a day, and that is shoes that actually fit well. And yes, my wide shoe video is coming very soon. I'm currently doing a lot of research on it, but just shoes that can accommodate my feet, that don't feel uncomfortable, that have nice soft leather, that do not pinch. I mean, probably one of my favorite brands for that would have to be Aelia. I've been really impressed with their leather because it is supple and soft. It does crease a lot, but that does give you that nice flexibility across the foot, and they have some really interesting designs. I'm yet to actually buy a pair of shoes from Aelia that I have found to be uncomfortable, and that says a lot, kind of speaks volumes about the consistency across different styles. So I have found that I do vary in size between styles, so you have a little bit of trial and error there. These are probably one of my most comfortable. They're the Aelia, and they're very wide cut across the foot, but with a high modern vamp. More of a rounded toe. I definitely prefer a pointed toe shoe, but if you have wide feet and a bunion, I think we can all agree that they're probably not the ideal shoe to be wearing on a daily basis. The other nice thing about these is they have a little bit of a heel too, so you have that elevation, and that always adds a bit of extra sophistication to an outfit. I always feel nice when I'm wearing these, and I think the colors that they choose are really beautiful too. My next little luxury is something that's a bit more dainty. It's really beautiful, high quality and well-designed jewelry, something that is timeless, that is going to last through the years, through the ages. So while that initial upfront cost might be a little bit higher, you find that it all evens out because it's going to be something that you can wear and that will last you a lifetime. And this part of the video is in partnership with Linjer. I've been wearing their jewelry for over 7 years now. I just think it is so beautiful, so well made, and they do a really good job of coming out with designs that feel modern, unique, but also that are styles that you'll want to continue going back to. Now, before I share with you some new pieces from the brand, I do have a discount code which I'm going to drop in the description box below. So if you shop via my link and use that code, you will receive a special offer at checkout, and this is exclusive for all my subscribers. So make sure you take advantage of that if you are planning to buy anything from the brand. And one of the things I love about their jewelry outside of the designs is the quality of the materials they're using. Every single piece is made with recycled gold and recycled silver, so there's this great sense of circularity there, which I really appreciate and value as a consumer. And you'll know I'm a big fan of their 14 karat solid gold pieces. I have quite a few of those in my collection now, but I also really like their gold vermeil ones too, and this is where you can get some of those more modernized designs. Now, the great thing about their gold vermeil is that it is much thicker than other brands, so it's 2.5 to 3 microns thick with a base of sterling silver. And I haven't had any issues with tarnishing my lise hoops. Those are gold vermeil and they have lasted over 7 years, which I think says a lot, speaks to the quality of the brand, but also the fact that I'm just as happy to wear those today as I was 7 years ago when I first added them to my jewelry wardrobe. I'm especially loving the Essie ring, which takes up quite a bit of visual space on the finger, and it's great for that statement moment. It has this beautiful organic shape, which you can see because there's no symmetry in the lines of the ring, which I personally find so much beauty in, as when we think about what we see in nature, that's kind of reflected back in the essence of this ring. A couple of the other pieces that I wanted to share today are some of their tennis bracelets, which use cubic zirconias. So this is a really nice way to bring in that sparkle without breaking the bank. So they do have some really stunning lab-grown diamond tennis bracelets if your budget extends a little bit further. But if not, these are just as special in my eyes, and they really have a lovely sparkle to them. I have 2 of them here on my wrist, so I wanted to show you kind of the size size comparison, as I thought that that might be helpful. The smaller, more flexible style is called the Audrey. The stones on this are 2.1 millimeters thick in diameter. And then the slightly larger tennis bracelet is called the Zilla. The stones on this are 3 millimeters wide, so you get a little bit more presence on the arm. And I've actually paired this with what I think might be one of the most underrated pieces I've ever found on Linjer's website. This is called the Aelia Bangle, and it has that lovely organic shape again. But the thing that surprised me so much when I unboxed this was just how hefty it is. It's absolutely solid, so this would be a solid sterling silver bangle underneath with the gold vermeil coating, and it has a really interesting clasp as well, which is very easy to put on by yourself, which is a real boon, I think, with things like this, and it doesn't fall off. So that is stunning. And then I also have this lovely silver puffy heart necklace, which I think this would actually make a beautiful gift for Christmas if you're starting to think about what you're going to give your loved ones. It's really stunning, very quite minimal in design, but then the actual pendant itself has a little bit of weight on the chest. So those were some of the new pieces I wanted to share with you from Linjer, and I thought nice because these really embody that sense of little luxury, because they're all under 500 Australian dollars, which I think is incredibly reasonable, particularly for something that you're going to have and wear every single day, but that carries so much weight in terms of what it actually adds to your outfit and also to your day. As I don't know about you, but I always feel just a little bit more dolled up when I'm wearing some really pretty jewelry, and for that reason it's always something I'm happy to kind of set aside a little bit of my budget to splurge on, because I know I'll never regret it. And I will be sure to link all of the pieces I've mentioned in the description box along with my code, so you can get that special offer which is exclusive for all of you. Thank you so much to Linjer for partnering with me on this part of the video. Now, the next little luxury I will always make room for in my budget is tailoring, and I think that this one is so valuable because there is nothing quite like having a piece of clothing that feels like it was made for you, that fits you absolutely perfectly the way that you want it to. Now, probably the most common tailoring thing that I will ever do to any of my clothes is to get things taken up. Quite often it's jeans because I have shorter legs, and so I need to get them taken up so that they're not scrunching around my ankles or trailing on the floor. And this is such an easy fix. And there are two ways that you can get your jeans tailored, so I want to highlight them for you in case you want to ask for one over the other. So the first method is to cut the fabric and just sew a new hem. And this works in a lot of instances where maybe you've got a white jean or a black jean, something that doesn't have any sort of special distressing to the hem. The second option is to request to keep the original hem, and you'll know when you want to do this because the hem kind of has more of a unique appearance to it. There's sort of differences in the coloration, or maybe there's some distressing, something that you want to hold on to and retain. This requires a bit more work and it does cost more money, but it can really be worth it. Though I do find sometimes it can come off looking a little bit bulky, and I understand for those who are petite and getting a huge swath of fabric cut from the jeans that this might not be a possibility, but something to keep in mind. But there are so many different things you can do. For example, I've had a jacket taken in via the back center seam because it was just too broad across my shoulders. I've had skirts taken in at the waist because there was just too much fabric. You can have sleeves shortened, you can have darts added. I mean, there is obviously a limit to what you can do, and having a really good relationship with your tailor and just understanding what their limitations are can be really beneficial and a great way to be thinking when you're shopping, yes, maybe this doesn't fit me perfectly, but if I spend another $30, I can make it look like it was made for me. And that is definitely where I will always kind of keep that little bit extra in my budget in order to allow for it. And I think this is something you should do regardless of whether it is an inexpensive item or one that is more expensive, because if you're wearing it all the time, then the value is in making it be something you want to wear all the time. My next little luxury is buying really nice stationery. And no, it doesn't have to be, you know, $100 notebooks, but I like stationery that is well designed and that looks really sleek and chic. And quite often I go to Muji. I really like just their simple card lined notebooks. I go through so many of these, even just the brown card ones I love. My daughter has drawn all over mine though, but there's just something so nice about using a notebook that feels really lovely to write in and that you have especially handpicked. And I do tend to like more Japanese stationery. I feel like they have such an abundance of choice, and there are a lot of retailers that specialize purely in Japanese stationery, but also a leather-bound notebook that does have your initials engraved in it, I think is so beautiful. And this actually is another great idea for a gift. This is from An Organized Life, and sadly this business has now folded, but I'm sure again there'll be loads of options out there. I think Metier is one of those more luxury brands that does a lot of notebooks and things if you are looking for something a little bit more upmarket and upscale. But to me, it doesn't necessarily need to mean breaking the bank. For me, the luxury is in having lovely, nice stationery and a good pen as well, one that isn't too thick or too thin. If you know, you know. Another style one that I feel like I will always spend that little bit of extra money on is a good quality wallet. Now, this one here is from Charlotte Olympia, and it is, gosh, has to be a decade old or so. I've had it a really, really long time, and it is something that I cherish to this day. This one here has a little zip up pocket in the center, which I used to put coins in, but now I put in my cards that are very infrequently used. I do have a straight card holder from the brand as well, and both of them are in really good quality. I mean, yes, there is a bit of discoloration here. And of course, I've really stretched out the leather on this piece, but the fact that not a single stitch has come loose, there are no loose threads at all. The zipper is just as smooth now as it was the day that I purchased this. To me, that is money so well spent. I think it was under $300, but still felt like a huge kind of chunk of money at the time that I bought it. But it's gone on to be one of my most used, most cherished, most loved things in my entire wardrobe. And I think this just really leans into that idea of buy well, buy once. And yeah, I mean, I feel like also a really good shout out to Charlotte Olympia's leather goods. I know she's doing shoes again, but I'm not sure if she's doing these. I really hope she is, because these were great. I have a couple of lifestyle ones for you, and I've been thinking a lot about how investing in our health is so important, and a huge part of this for me, I think, is having young children, but also getting older and kind of seeing the fact that, you know, I'm not as young as I used to be. My body doesn't do those same things, and I really need to take that time to look after myself and put myself first in certain circumstances. So one of the things I recently decided to do was to start going to reformer Pilates classes, which has been great for strengthening, but also for my well-being, for my mood. And I really look forward to the classes. I've actually been devastated that I've had influenza for the last week and a half because I haven't been able to go to any classes, and I've really, really missed the experience. So spending the money there is something that I personally find so much value in, and also just getting really fun socks. These ones say health is wealth, because it really is. But I just really look forward to those classes, and I'm finally finding a use for all of my active wear, as it had kind of been sitting in a drawer for a while as I've been very inactive. I hate to admit it. The other thing that I really look forward to every single week, and this just feels like the littlest of luxuries, but I think about it all morning, is the baked good that I buy myself after my Pilates class. There is this beautiful little bakery that is 2 doors down, and all the baked goods are a little bit more expensive. So it would not be uncommon to buy a cinnamon roll for $15. That's probably around $10 American for those wondering about the conversion. Maybe I'll try and put the exact conversion as of on screen. And so to me, that does feel like a huge splurge, but one, they're always so tasty, so delicious. And it feels really rewarding to have one of those treats after I've just done a really intense and challenging workout class. So I always look forward to that, and that's something that brings me so much joy, satisfaction, and it's just quite fulfilling in a way as well, you know, both literally and figuratively. So that's something I will always make room for. And the fact that it's only once a week as well, I think is part of what contributes to it feeling like an actual luxury, because I'm not consuming these pastries to excess. I'm not getting one every single day. It's the infrequency and the fact that I spend that entire week kind of looking forward to it. So there's that great anticipation as well. The silent hero of many an outfit, a good quality leather belt. This is something to me that absolutely is a luxury that I will always spend on. I think it is worth it because you don't need to have a lot of belts. You really only need 1 or 2 solid options in different colors or different textures, and that will add so much substance and so much impact to an outfit. And once you buy one, it's that buy well, buy once kind of mindset here. You're going to have it for a really long time. This black one I think I've had since, was it 2021? And while yes, there's kind of been some fading to the gold gold on the buckle. It's actually in such exceptional condition considering how often I have worn it, and that's something I've been really impressed by. While I will always highlight and kind of rave about these Anderson's belts, the idea is not that it has to be that expensive, it's that it should just be a quality leather belt, not a polyurethane one, but one that is in a beautiful material and that actually just feels special to you. It feels luxurious to you to wear it, whether it is more of a stiffer, structured leather, or whether it's one that does have that nice malleability to it, like this one here. And to me, yeah, like I said, it's a silent hero. It's a real workhorse in my wardrobe, something that I reach for all the time, and definitely feels like a little bit of a luxury to splurge on and get something that feels a bit more special. My next little luxury that I will always make room for in my budget is good quality underwear that makes you feel really good, because our outfit isn't just what we're wearing on the exterior, but it starts with what we have on underneath. And so I've spent probably the last 24 months seeking out what I think are the best quality bralettes, because I don't have a lot going on. It's quite funny that I used to be a D cup and now I'm basically an A cup. But probably my favorite brand that I have come across is Stripe and Stare. So I'm wearing the black version of this one right now, but it's this beautiful eco lace bralette. These wash really well too. And I also have their regular bra, which I'll put a photo of on screen. Really stunning. And I also love their knickers too. So these ones here are from that same collection, but they also have the loveliest, softest bamboo knickers, which they come out of the wash looking like new, no pilling, nothing. They are a little bit more of a splurge, but my gosh, are they comfortable? I love their inclusive sizing as well. I feel like they cater to a really wide range of bodies. But then if we're after more of a padded bra, I really like these ones from Aerie, which I actually have to use mail forwarding to buy because they don't seem to have them on the Australian website. They're wire free, so they feel incredibly comfortable, but then they also give you that coverage as well, which I really appreciate. And I have those in quite a few colors. They're often on sale as well. I am gonna link my Substack below where I shared my top 10 bralette finds in case you would like to go and check that out, because I have loads of great recommendations in there, along with some that I didn't try but that have been recommended many times to me. So that could be a really good read. And kind of on that same line of investing in myself, I've been thinking a lot about my skincare, and so I've been on quite the journey in 2025, and I would say probably one of the biggest ones is that I've been using an LED mask. I use this every single day. I'll either put it on in the morning after I wash my face or at night before I'm going to bed. And it's great because you're not kind of tethered to anything. It's really flexible and you can move around. This one here does have a few different settings as well, but I just use the red light. And I've been coupling this with doing skin needling, which is a whole new thing to me. And I've really noticed a difference in the actual texture, the composition of my complexion. It's really fascinating to see, and I'm wearing a lot less kind of concealer on my face or even base product because I don't need it, and that's really quite amazing. But I feel like this is contributing. And then I've also started using a Microderm device as well. So this you run along your skin and it basically buffs off, exfoliates, and removes all of those dead skin cells. So it's one of those things that I think works in tandem with the LED mask and the skin needling in order to really rejuvenate the complexion. So these are definitely a little bit more expensive, but it is something I consider to be a luxury in that I have that time to invest in myself and to really look after my skin, and I'm really enjoying the entire process as well. It feels like something I'm doing for me, and kind of like I'm bringing that spa-like quality into my home. Another one is really beautiful, nice sheets, either ones in a high quality cotton or in a really silky bamboo, or else I love linen in the summertime as well. And I have a few favorite brands. So for linen, I really like Magic Linen. I have had a lot of the Quince linen bedding as well, which I think is really beautiful. I really like the Cozy Earth bamboo sheets. So they're the ones that we have on our bed right now, and they just feel so nice to sleep in. And I'm very partial to Country Roads cotton sheets. They are so fun as well. They have lots of great colors, and I have some of these for my kids as well. I know there are so many brands out there that do beautiful bedding. So if you have any recommendations, I would love for you to share them down in the comments below. Oh, and a silk pillowcase. I think that That is kind of a little bit of a treat, a luxury too. Again, it kind of goes back to looking after our complexion. The final one I have is a little bit random, but the fact I grew up in Wellington, it will probably explain a lot of things. And that is a really well-designed umbrella. My favorite brand is Blunt, which was kind of born out of Wellington, and the fact that it was a risk if you took an umbrella with you for the day, because it was quite likely going to end up absolutely destroyed after a day of rain. Think sideways rain, blustery wind that makes your umbrella go inside out the second you open it, if you can even get it open. The thing I like about the Blunt ones is that they are really strong, and I've never had one break on me. Taken them to Wellington, I've used them here when it's been really windy, not been a problem at all, and I actually have quite a few of them now. We've got the full umbrellas, and then we've got 3 of these smaller ones, which are great if you're just going to tuck them in your handbag in case you end up getting hit with a downpour at some point in the day. So those are all the little luxuries that add so much value to my life from my perspective, and the things that I personally do not want to ever be without. I would love to know what your little luxuries are. Can you please tell me in the comments? Because I feel like for everyone, these are going to look so different, because it's going to depend on where we live, our tastes, our preferences, the things that we enjoy. So please do share, as I feel like that'd be a really fun conversation to have. Thank you so much for spending some of your day with me and for putting up with my voice as well, as I know it's been a little bit raspy. I hope that you have the most beautiful week ahead. If you do plan on buying anything from Linjer, make sure that you use my code and my links down in the description box, and I will see you next time with a brand new video. See you very soon. Bye.